최근 살아있는 투자의 전설이라 불리는 워런 버핏의 과거 인터뷰 영상이 화제입니다. 바로 모든 이들의 관심사라 할 수 있는 부자로 은퇴하는 방법을 전수한 영상인데요. 현재 90세가 넘는 나이에도 여전히 투자회사의 CEO로서 연평균 19.8%의 수익률이라는 괴물 같은 성적을 내고 있는 그는 우리들에게 무슨 얘기를 해줬을까요?
I think it's the same thing that makes most sense practically all of the time. And that is to consistently buy an S&P 500 low-cost index fund. Keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin. When you see bad headlines in newspapers, maybe I should skip a year.
대부분의 투자자들은 처음 투자를 시작할 때의 마음과 달리 조그만 나쁜 소식에도 겁먹고 주식을 팔아버리기 일쑤입니다. 그런 투자자들을 위한 따끔한 조언인 것 같은데요. 조금 더 들어보겠습니다.
Just keep buying it. American business is going to do fine over time. You know the investment universe is going to do very well. The Dow Jones Industrial Average went from 66 to 11,497 in one century. And since that century has ended, it's more or less doubled again. American business is going to do well.
워런 버핏의 말처럼 미국 주식은 정말 오랜 세월 동안 우상향해왔습니다. 미국 경제 위험하다, 곧 위기가 오면서 증시 거품도 꺼질 것이다 라는 위기론이 매년 있었음에도 말이죠. 미국 경제가 그만큼 강하고 튼튼하다는 얘기일 겁니다. 워런 버핏은 과거에 그래왔듯 앞으로도 그럴 것이니 믿음을 갖고 꾸준히 우량한 기업의 주식을 사모으면 된다는 말을 하고 있는 겁니다. 그러면서 그는 중요한 팁을 또 알려줬는데요.
The trick is not to pick the right company because most people aren't equipped to do that, and plenty of times I make mistakes on that. The trick is to essentially buy all the big companies through the S&P 500 and to do it consistently and to do it in a very, very low-cost way because costs really matter in investments. If returns are going to be 7 or 8% and you are paying 1% for fees, that makes an enormous difference in how much money you have on retirement.
한편 워런 버핏의 이 S&P 500 지수에 대한 유별난 사랑을 엿볼 수 있는 부분이 있었는데요.
At the annual meeting for Berkshire Hathaway this year, you introduced a special guest to the audience of 40,000 shareholders who were watching. It was Jack Bogle. Why did you want to recognize Jack Bogle?
I think Jack Bogle has done more for American investors than any other person because he, with a number of other people, he came up with the idea of the index fund. He wasn't the sole thinker behind it, but he was the guy that implemented it and crusaded for it. But now there's trillions of dollars in low-cost index funds. Those people are going to have better lives, they're going to have better retirements, their kids are going to inherit more money because of Jack Bogle and his efforts.
워런 버핏의 이런 조언들이 계속해서 회자되는 건 결국 그가 수십 년이 넘는 세월 동안 전쟁, 전염병, 경제위기 등등 온갖 부침을 겪으면서도 살아남은 전설적인 존재이기 때문이 아닐까 싶습니다. 특히 최근 우리나라에서도 노인 빈곤 문제가 심각해지면서 20대부터 미리미리 은퇴 자금을 마련하려는 움직임이 커지고 있는데요. 그런 우리들에게 또 깊은 울림을 주는 동기부여가 되는 명언들이 아니었나 싶습니다. 이상 뉴순이었습니다.
Keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin. Keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin. Keep buying it through thick and thin, and especially through thin. And since that century has ended, it's more or less doubled again. And since that century has ended, it's more or less doubled again. And since that century has ended, it's more or less doubled again. But he was the guy that implemented it and crusaded for it. But he was the guy that implemented it and crusaded for it. But he was the guy that implemented it and crusaded for it.